Hey there friends, thanks for checking in. Going to do a debate today with Jarhead6, talking about the age-old argument, what's better for concealed carry, a semi-auto or a revolver. I'm going to go first this time, so let's go. The guns that I will be showcasing have been safety checked and are unloaded. But when we talk about concealed carry and what is the better choice, I'm going to give you 6 reasons why a semi-auto handgun is a better choice for concealed carry than a revolver. First off, I like the squared edges of a semi-auto versus a revolver. Makes it easier to carry, especially when carrying on the hip. Secondly, it has a lower felt recoil by the way the energy is dispersed, which means less muzzle flip with the semi-auto versus the revolver. I like options. Whatever we talk about with firearms, options is always good. Here we have the options of night sights and the option of a weapon light for low light situations. You don't see that on revolvers very often, but you see them on semi-autos all the time. You have a larger variety of handguns to choose for. Once again, the options are there with semi-auto. Everything from the micro 380s to the full-size 1911s, semi-auto handguns offer so many more options. Let's look at trigger pull. Here's the SP101. If I want to go into single action, I have to pull the hammer back each time. And then the double action pull is over 10 pounds. Same thing with the Ruger LCR that only offers double action. That's a 12-pound trigger pull. Here I have a CZP07. I charge this, it goes into single action. The trigger pull is 4 pounds. So it's easier to stay on target. The main thing that I want you to take away from my part of this debate is the firepower. SP101 holds 5 rounds. CZP07 duty holds 16. I go to do a mag change, I put a fresh mag in there, charge it, I got another 16 rounds. That's 32 rounds. If I had a speed loader with this, I'm looking at the difference of 32 rounds versus 10. That is why a semi-auto is a better choice for CCW.
Hey guys, Jarhead6, and I appreciate you guys watching. So definitely Dan made some good points here at the beginning of this video. And I gotta tell you guys, when it comes down to CCW, it's gonna be whoever, you know, is going to be your choice what kind of gun you want to carry. But I definitely believe that a lot of guys take away from the revolvers. Revolvers are great choices, and in many cases they are better than semi-automatic, and I'm going to tell you why. Alright guys, Dan talks about auctions. Come on, a revolver got more options. You could actually change the size in many different types of revolver. Some revolvers have rails, and you talk about options. A revolver, this one in particular, could shoot a 38, 38 special, and 357 Magnum. That is definitely something that semi-automatic guns cannot do. Alright guys, so let's talk about the trigger. And Dan is right, the trigger's very heavy, you know, usually about 10 to 12 pounds. But I gotta tell you guys, that is a safety issue. That's for us to be safe. And I gotta tell you, this is not a range gun. This is not a combat gun. This is a CCW gun. So meaning that you always, if you happen to use this gun, it's gonna be at a close range. We're talking about 5 to 7 yards. And a 10-pound trigger would do just fine at that distance. Now, if you find yourself shooting at a longer distance, you know, like 25 yards, you're most likely going to find yourself in some type of legal issue because your life is not really in danger. Now, guys, I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why revolvers are better. First of all, extremely reliable. Definitely more reliable than any semi-automatic. Second, barely any training. Anybody could grab this gun, put some rounds in here in the cylinder, close it, and get ready to engage. Barely any training. And lastly, you don't have to do anything to this gun. You don't have to make sure the magazines are good, the sprints. You can put this gun in your pocket, in a purse if you're a female, and you know it's gonna work whenever you pull it out. Now I gotta tell you guys, 32 rounds of 9mm is extremely nice to have, but the most important aspect to survive an encounter is not the amount of rounds you have, it's your situational awareness, it is your mindset.
Surviving an encounter is in your mindset. Jarhead, I'm worried about your mindset. I think you've been drinking some spiked Kool-Aid because some of the things you said are just wrong. Don't you want the best tool possible in that situation? So I'm going to address a few of your points and get back into my own focus. Revolver has more options than a semi-auto. I'm going to let the viewers talk about that. I can't wait to read their comments. That's simply not true. A revolver is not a range gun, a combat gun, nor does it require training. That's what you said. Every gun's a range gun. Every gun has potential for combat, and every gun should be trained with, especially if it's a carry gun. If you're being attacked and shot at, I don't care if it's 5 yards or 25 yards, you want a gun with the most firepower as possible. A semi-auto can do that for you, as where a revolver is limited. Now back to my point. A while back, law enforcement officers primarily carried revolvers. But what happened was they were getting outgunned by criminals with superior firepower in their semi-auto handguns. So they, in fact, began to carry semi-auto handguns and many spare magazines. In the CCW situation, we can level the playing field too against bad guys by having superior firepower with a semi-auto handgun, which is a better choice for you.
You know what, Dan? I think you're getting old and you need to go to the doctor because you're not understanding me. Of course, I'm not going to use a revolver for combat. This is CCW. That's what we're talking about. And when I said training, I said barely any training. Here I got my Glock 17. If I have some kind of issue, I'm going to have to tap, rack, and continue with the fight. I may have to get the magazine out, rack it, and get ready for fight. Now, that seems simple to me and a bunch of guys, but from other guys, it's not as simple. Here at Revolver, when I talk about barely any training, you have some type of issue, it doesn't fire, shoot it again, and that's that simple. That is why I said barely any training. I tell you, Dan, you definitely need to go to the doctor because you're becoming a U2 operator / keyboard commander. You don't need 32 rounds for CCW. I feel very comfortable carrying 6 rounds in this revolver and carrying extra 6 more rounds because I gotta tell you, the most important round of any fight is not gonna be round 29 or 30. It's gonna be that first round. That first round is gonna take care of business, and when you squish the trigger in a revolver, you are pretty much guaranteed that it's gonna go bang.